Show, Peter G Show, Peter G Show, Peter G Show. Divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad. Peter G Show.
Honey, I'm home. You know, as I was saying the previous few days, it's going to be good to be back in the saddle. After a month-long hiatus, due to circumstances, we chose to sit it out. Take a little time off, let everybody be home with their families. Run a few reruns. They're all good. But trying times. And I was have a lot to tell you. I was writing things down. And I said tonight's going to be a good night. I'm just going to be rattling off from it was going to be anything goes night for me. I'm all over the map as usual. And lo and behold, another incident arises. Yeah, baby. What's up, Todd? So, I have all this stuff in my head. All this stuff I want to talk about. It's like coming back from vacation, except I really wasn't a vacation. We closed down. Everybody's out of business. I'm kind of essential, in a non-essential kind of way. And, I was, we just said, let's, you know what? We gotta take a break. We've done 68 shows in a row. Oh, yeah. Let's take a little breather, let things chill out, let's feel out the waters, let's see what's going on. And I couldn't wait to get back. So I'm like a kid in a candy store. I like doing this. I love doing this. Speaking of doing this, again, I'm gonna be all over the map tonight. It's bad enough I am how I do it anyway. One day they're going to have to strap me down and give me direction, but for right now it's like, oh, look, a squirrel. Speaking of happy to be here, I could not be here if it wasn't for, yes, they're still with me through thick and thin, my beloved Bolt Energy. Proud sponsor. Bolt Energy. Electrify your senses. That's right. Through all these trying times, I have definitely had my share of Bolt Energy. Because sometimes my get up and go gets up and is gone. And I need it. Hey, Pete. Anyway, no preservatives, Bolt Energy. That's a big deal. Go find an energy drink that doesn't have preservatives in it. Nowadays, there's so much crap in everything. Cleaner energy drink, and they're proud of it too. These guys are workout fanatics. They wanted to develop something that was, different from the rest. I think it tastes great. It's got like 80 grams of sugar. It's not one of those big giant cans, and this isn't even the sugar-free. So that's coming down the pipe too. But in the meantime, I got this, and you should have this too. Ask for it in stores, Bolt Energy. If you can't find it, they're growing. Ask for it. Or if you can't find it, go to www.drinkboltenergy and ask them where you might be able to find it. Again, it's not easy being an energy drink, just like it's not easy being the Peter G Show. Everybody wants to be somebody. But who's got the guts to do it? The Peter G Show and Bolt Energy does. That's who. No backing down. Never say die. We truly believe in what we're doing. They believe in me, I believe in them, and I love you guys, and so does Bolt Energy. I'm going to pop a can open. Yeah. So much to talk about, but now shit has hit the fan. Again. I lived through it almost 20 years ago. Hang on. Salute. I love you guys. Peace and love. Ringo Starr had it right. That's the key to my mantra. Oh, holy crap, that's good. I always ice it down. I love it really, really cold. Just tasty. Doesn't suck. And that's a good thing. Anyway. Yeah. So, I've had like this time off, all this time off, you know. Still been doing things with you guys. But I had so much bullshit I want to talk about. Fun stuff. Everything from watching a few movies on the plane. I guess I flew over this past month. I had to. Somebody's got to do it. I learn things every day. And I want to talk about this stuff, but, you know, I feel it's my moral obligation now because, I mean, I had to just walk away from the TV set again. All day long, all night long. Riots from, you know, which initially was supposed to spark from, you know, peaceful protests, you know, getting the message across. And let me tell you something. This reminds me of Rodney King all over again. And a lot of innocent people are getting hurt. What am I talking about? You know what I'm talking about. This whole George Floyd thing. I don't think George Floyd would approve of this. I completely get it. Completely get it. What's going on? You know? That's the problem. Everybody focuses on the one bad, but not the millions of good. And that bothers me too. Anyway, tonight, I'm hoping somebody is going to have some stuff they want to get off their chest, and they're going to call that number, 818-259-7983 tonight. Tonight, I want to hear from you guys, because we're going to talk about this George Floyd thing, how a really bad thing went down. There's no friggin' doubt about that. I mean, you know, it's anybody who says, oh, that wasn't, then they're idiots. They're friggin' idiots. It was definitely not a good thing. But the fact that we're going to take that thing and it's going to escalate, and now our buildings are burning down because we're taking something from a peaceful protest and things like that. People want to be heard. I think everybody's being heard right now. But then you get the thugs that are moving in, and they're taking advantage of it. And let me tell you something, people. Back in I moved to LA in 1991, and in 1992, Rodney King, a black man, got beat by police. And it was filmed. This is back in the early days. I mean, this is, you know, and somebody filmed it, and that started the whole, and rightfully so, okay? Rightfully so. But that started the spark that ignited the LA riots and all this stuff, and before long, mobs were going out into the streets, just breaking everything and anything they can, and hurting innocent people. People that were probably believing them and on their side. But see, the good people who protest don't do that. It's the idiots that jump on the bandwagon and take advantage of the situation. And unfortunately, it's happening right now. Santa Monica is a mess. Santa Monica, California. Last night it was Melrose, Beverly Hills. Go figure, friggin' Beverly Hills, right? They're not stupid. They go to the good places. They looted the shit out of the place. They spray painted all over the place. Rodeo Drive. It's effed up. Really bad. But again, I truly believe it's not the peaceful protesters. There's mobs gathering, gangs, you name it, and they know they're going to benefit from this situation. They're going to blame it on whatever. Everybody's wearing masks now. Last time they were trying to identify people and things like that 20 years ago, 18 years ago, whatever it was. Those were early times. But now, it's a friggin' mess, people. And, you know, and again, you're hurting innocent people. People are just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Probably people that empathize, with you. And you're smashing their cars that they can barely afford to have, their businesses. I got lots of sheets of stuff. I was writing things down. It was just stupid. A couple of days ago, before everything started, like in Santa Monica, the first thing I saw was they had a protest in Hollywood, right here in Hollywood. By the way, we're located in an undisclosed location in Burbank, California. That's right. Not far from Hollywood. But there was a protest in Hollywood a few nights ago, middle of the week last week. I can't remember what day it was, Wednesday, Thursday. Then all these smart people decided that they were going to take over the freeway and jump onto the freeway and stop traffic. Let me tell you. Now, the one thing they had to their advantage was the freeways are still kind of slow. You know, for LA. Usually they're packed full of people and people are speeding or it's dead stop traffic. But the one thing you don't want to do is go messing around with a freeway. You get killed on a freeway. But they did it. They did it, and nobody got killed. Almost. The cops try to get on the freeway. Again, I know everybody's pissed off at the cops. Black Lives Matter. I get it. I get it. Because I'm going to say some things here and there, but remember, all lives matter. I get it. It just happened to go that way again. I'm sure there's white people and red people and yellow people that have gotten messed up and or killed in situations like this because for some reason they're just, they could be bad people, or they could have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, or they could be bad cops. But let me tell you, for every one bad cop, there's thousands, tens of thousands of good cops. You're going to need them someday. Hope you don't, but if you do, not everybody's like that. Just like people. There's good people and there's bad people. There's good lawyers and there's bad lawyers. There's good everybody. In the music business when I was in it, there was good record deals and bad record deals. It just happens. It's the way it is. But you don't take it out on everybody. You just can't. But this is what's happening now. Now, the rational people, see, that's the problem. You don't hear from the rational people. I normally keep my mouth shut because I understand. You're pissed. But you're protesting. That incident made the news. I take notice. But I don't have to go around screaming about it because it's not going to change a whole lot. What it has to change is from within. And believe me, they know it. Those guys, I feel that cop, he's up shit creek without a paddle. That's it. He screwed up big time. He's going to pay the price. He will pay the price. You can't fix what happened, but a lot of times things happen and you can't fix what happens. 818-259-7983. I want to hear from you. Share. I keep forgetting to ask you. It's been a month. I'm slipping. Watch parties, people. I want you to have watch parties. You can watch these shows on demand anytime. I was supposed to finally, I didn't get to make this announcement, but ever since last October, we lost our multi-streaming third-party provider. Facebook was allowing us to be on many different Facebook pages, Peter G Show, Peter Gisellis, Peter G Gisellis, and it just goes out to more people, and it notifies you that I'm on. Well, Facebook changed their Privacy Act. Here I go, jumping subjects again, but there's a reason. Eventually, last October, I lost that possibility because Facebook changed their Privacy Act, they recoded everything, which took it away from my third-party provider that was allowing me to do this for a nominal fee. And they kept saying, we're working on it. Well, it was pissing me off. Anybody who follows, who was listening to the shows week after week, I lost half my audience because, unfortunately, as many people that like to watch the show, if you don't put it right in front of their face, if you ask them that they got to move and change channels, get up and change the TV channel or something like that, they'll just watch whatever's on the same channel because they don't feel like getting up. It's like, Peter, I love you, but I don't feel like getting up. So week after week, month after month, I kept thinking we're going to get it together. That's right, thank you. Week after week, I thought we were going to just, finally get it together, and I started losing faith, and I'm going, you know what, screw it. Now we have to shift gears and try to get everybody to watch the official Peter G Show page because the other pages weren't lighting up. Well, lo and behold, after I finally gave up with them, figuring they'll never get it back because once, it's just like helmet laws on a motorcycle. Once they put a helmet law into effect, good luck trying to get the helmet law back. But I get an email from my provider, and she says, guess what? We finally did it. We finally got with Facebook, and they're finally allowing us to, get you back to where you can multi-stream. So that's coming next Sunday. Next Sunday, you have more possibilities of knowing that I'm here. That's a big problem, It's been a big problem. And I appreciate those who have stuck by me and supported me through thick and thin, as my sponsor has, because, there's a lot of ups and downs going into this business when you're, trying to make a point. But anyway, my point being is that we never gave up, and then neither did my third-party provider, and they finally got that little added bonus that helps me provide for you. So next week, hopefully I'll be able to bring back the many who just wondered, I wonder where the hell Peter went, because they're on a certain page and they don't see it, and therefore they just figured out he must have gone away like the many do. But I'm here to tell you, not this guy. I don't back down. I didn't get up one day and say, hey, we're going to do this, and if it doesn't work, we'll just go away. We make it work. My gut told me we're going to do this, and that's why I'm here. And that's why tonight, 818-259-7983, we're talking about, and I wanted to talk about a lot of other stuff, and I may just hold it off and slip it in next week, but I don't want time to pass too fast. But this whole George Floyd thing is just, it bothers me. It bothers me from deep within. It shouldn't be this way. It wasn't supposed to be this way. Okay, it's a big mess. It's a big mess. So then the protesting starts. And they start, so these protesters that were in Hollywood last week, they jump out onto the 101 freeway. For those of you who don't live in California, the 101 freeway is, 5-6 lanes wide on each side, plus an emergency lane on each side in the middle. I mean, to try to run across it, it's like running a football field of cars. It's like Pac-Man. Hang on a minute. I miss you guys. Did I tell you that? I like being here. I like when you're here too. So these people / protesters decide they want to jump out onto the freeway and try to overtake the freeway. Hey. And they did. And they did. They jumped out onto the freeway and they started stopping traffic. Well, that's not a good thing to do. And the thing is, usually when they start stopping traffic, you're screwed. You're boxed in a car because you can't make a U-ey because there's cars coming up behind you. And the fear is you're boxed in, and these people all of a sudden start protesting physically by beating on your car, smashing your windows, pulling you out of your car. I mean, listen, it happened in 1992. We'll get into that. So they start blocking traffic. All of a sudden, the cops finally get there. They try to get in onto the freeway, and they just start beating on the cop cars. They threw a skateboard through the rear window. This one guy jumps on the hood. You've probably seen it on the news, and if you haven't seen it, I'm here to tell you about it. One guy jumps on the hood of the cop car. The cop, now he's by himself. There's hundreds of people. The cop car tries to take off. That guy's on the hood. Somehow or another, as soon as he went out of camera range from the helicopters by some reason, he slipped off. He fell off. He got hurt. He was on the ground and he didn't get up. So now the cops have to get more cops in there and fire and rescue, and they don't know what kind of situation. They're not going to send a fire engine and paramedics in there to a mob, group. They don't know what they've got because they're breaking windows. They broke out all the cop car windows. I know, right? So they finally, that guy's on the ground for several minutes. People are gathering around him. Now it's like, oh shit. All these people who are going crazy, that you start losing your mind. It's that mob mentality. You don't realize the stupid shit you're doing. You just get all caught up in it. And again, a lot of the idiots, so there's a lot of peaceful people, but a lot of idiots just jump on the bandwagon. They want to be a part of it. They want a selfie standing on top of a burning cop car. Whoop-de-friggin-do. But again, when you're young, you don't think straight. And most of these people that are doing this are younger people. Get off my yard, you kids! Anyway, grass. So they smash the windows. The cop takes off, and another cop car is kind of behind him. They're smashing that cop car too. And finally, they managed to get a fire truck and a paramedics to that guy, and he was messed up. He was really messed up, and they got him up, and he sat up, but he could have gotten killed doing stupid stuff. And that was the middle of the week. Hey, honey. Fast forward. This weekend has been hell here and in other parts of the country. But so yesterday I come home and all I see is Melrose Avenue. Melrose is a pretty niche-y little street. It's got all these cool little shops and things like that. People who work hard to have businesses. And these protests turn into mobs of looters who are ripping down doors, smashing glass, running in and grabbing whatever they can grab. And it went on and on and on. And it's sad as shit. Rodeo Drive. The infamous Rodeo Drive, Beverly Hills, tagged with BLM. We know Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, Yellow Lives Matter. Everybody's lives matter. But again, I seriously don't believe this was the peaceful protesters. These are the idiots that just drag along. It's kind of like when if an animal dies, or gets hit by a car, it's roadkill, and then you get the scavengers that come behind, the crows and all that. Yeah, thank you. We need to send prayers everywhere, because this is a friggin' mess. I haven't even did you notice? Here's one thing. COVID-19, coronavirus. Right now, you're not hearing a friggin' thing about it. Somebody brought that attention to me. He says, I've been watching the news, my friend Groucho. He says, I've been watching the news for 2 hours. Haven't heard a thing about coronavirus. Glad it's gone away. Hey, 818-259-7983. I want to hear what you think. Do you really believe that the protesters are doing this? The protesters are lighting buildings on fire? Is that really the best way? Here's what's going to happen, unfortunately. We, the people, are going to absorb all this. Or why don't we just blame it all on Trump, too? Yeah, it's all Trump's fault. I've been hearing that, too. Never ends. That whether you love him or hate him, it's like you're going to, blame. Everything goes his way. I suppose he could have stopped this, too, right? Motley Crue. That's right. So, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? I mean, I am complete agreeance of what happened, and there's going to be justice served. These things happen. Just like innocent people get killed by other people. Okay, the guy was a cop, but he's still a person, and he was an idiot cop, but this shit happens, and it did happen. Had it happened to a white guy, I don't know, would we be still doing this? Would have been this intense? A life is a life. Our blood is the same color, people. I know black people get, it's been a rough road, but it just seems like sometimes, everybody gets taken out. Now, I know you're all texting like crazy because I know there's several other pages going on and I can't read them, and stuff is starting to fly. If you think there's only 10 people watching on your page, you're wrong. Everybody's sharing. Don't forget, share and watch parties. But it's not. I can't go into it. Even my daughter doesn't believe me. But there's lots of people watching, and there's lots of text going on, and they're moving upwards. Why don't you share it with everybody? Because everybody can't see everybody's page. You got something to say, you call that number, 818-259-7983, and get it off your chest if you have something of worth. Otherwise, I'm just going to rattle on, as I always do. A little bit of Bolt energy here. Oh, yeah. It's stupid. It bothers me. So, this morning, and this really got me, too. This morning, I pull up my LinkedIn account, and there was a video clip of a older Afro-American guy. And he was yelling. He was yelling, and he was in tears, and he's yelling at these kids because they were looting and burning his property. They burned his car, and he's yelling. He's saying, "What are you doing?" He's like, I came from the ghetto. Why are you doing this to me? You know, it's like they don't know who they're doing it to. They're just doing it to anybody. It didn't matter. So they're screwing people that empathize with them. And again, the problem is, it's more than likely the people who are doing this don't give a shit about the real protest. They're just doing it because it's something to do. It's fun. They were burning his property. They looted him, and he worked all his. I was in tears. I really was. Because you could hear it in his voice. They just yelling at them, why are you doing this? That makes you're defeating the purpose of the whole thing. But again, and I'll say it again and again and again, the purpose, these people that are doing the stupid shit are not the people who are, you know, the peaceful ones who are protesting to be heard. These people are ruining it. You know, honestly, those people that are protesting and those people, they should be kicking their asses. They're ruining it. They're ruining the message. They're ruining the message. Let me tell you something. Back in the day, when I first moved to LA in 1991, which is, can't believe it's going to be this long, but it has been. It's been a great ride, though. But God knows I've learned a lot and changed a lot since then. Still, you know, I wasn't bad or anything like that, but you just change.
When you hear strange noises,
When Rodney King got his ass beat by a couple of cops, and those cops got in trouble. I mean, they got persecuted too, and persecuted all the same. But they were in the wrong, no doubt. So all of a sudden, the protesting started, and the lynch mobs, and then in comes the thugs, who start ripping down everything, and LA didn't have any control over it. There's old video clips of, like, you know, they were down in LA, Compton and all that, and there's a huge Asian community down there. They own, you know, little grocery stores and this and that. Those guys, I don't blame them one friggin' bit. They had everything to lose. They were armed, and they're on rooftops and in their stores with rifles. You know, they were protecting their own. But Rodney King got, you know, unlawfully beat, and everybody went nuts. And I think that was probably, you know, I mean, in the 60s, all this stuff happened too, you know, but we'll only go back 30 years. We won't go back 50 years. So these riots, it's the same thing. It's a repeat performance, different day. You're driving down an intersection, and there's mobs. You don't know any better, especially back then in 1992. We didn't have as much, you know, I mean, I'm getting things on my phone now. You get your Facebooks and all this kind of stuff. You know, pretty much everything that's going on. You got these alerts. Today, I was sitting in my car, and my phone goes off, and the alert goes off that, you know, LA is going into shutdown at 6 p.m. Curfew, law, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Get off the streets. We didn't have that back then. So they had helicopters and things like that. So the helicopters are up there flying, news helicopters especially. And here comes this tractor trailer coming through South LA. You know, the man's doing his job. He's just driving. They jump on his truck. They pull him out of his truck. They rip him out of his truck, throw him to the ground, and start beating the living shit out of him. His name was Reginald Denny. He was looked like a good old boy. Long blonde hair, just doing his thing. Driving a truck. I think it had like a dump truck back end on it. You know, it was a semi, but it was like one of those long dump trucks. They pulled him out of that truck, threw him to the ground. They beat and kicked the shit out of him, and they even hit him in the head with cinder blocks. The man was on his last. I mean, he lived. He lived to tell about it, but they messed him up. God was on his side that day. That's all I can tell you. That's the day that finally Rodney King, they put him on the air. And Rodney King, in tears, this black man that got beat, gets on live television in tears, asking people to chill out. Stop the violence. And that's where the phrase came from, can't we all just get along? God knows I use that all the time as a joke, but it's very, very true. Came from Rodney King, who ironically, is no longer alive either. He won a huge lawsuit many, many years ago, but he passed away. Can't we all just get along? Apparently we can't. And that's where major prayers come in. For the ones who do believe, you need to help pass the words for people to chill the fuck out. I'm sickened by this. Now, once again, because there's so much bad stuff going on, the cops are the bad guys for... They don't know how they're supposed to break this up. You know, you have to use a little force. You don't know who's good and who's not good. You don't know. Everybody's wearing masks, coronavirus, and hoods. Coronavirus, while they're going and looting Foot Lockers. There's going to be a lot of people wearing new shoes over the next week. And they already are. 818-259-7983. I know all of y'all got stuff to say because you're texting up a storm. 1, 2, 3 pages right there, and everybody's just, and they're just flying by. You got stuff. Just call the number and talk. Let people hear you because, unfortunately, one page can't see the other page. It sucks. Doing the best I can, as always. But it's always a challenge. When I took on this Facebook thing, it's been a challenge. I'm realizing that more than ever how tough it is. But I believed in Facebook. I believe in you guys because you guys have lived life. You're not 15 years old. That's why I ask you guys, if you want to help, do things, help me, help you, spread the word. Peter G Show. Share it. Hit the share button while you're watching this. Anytime you see the reruns, hit the share button. I promise you there's a gazillion people haven't seen this. I tell you, it's somewhere between 3 and 3 million. I can't count. I'm going to make a point. We are going to get where we're going. It's just a matter of sooner or later, but it's going to happen because I'm not backing down. Tom Petty won't back down. So Rodney King in tears. They put him on television, and he's in tears. You can go. I'm sure there's a clip of that floating around somewhere. There's got to be. He's in tears, and he gives a short speech. And he's like, "Can't we all just get along?" And that phrase is synonymous. I will never forget it. I use it a lot because, it's the truth. It's like, even when I'm having fun, we're all, banging on each other because, I go round and round with many groups of people and something's going on. I go, hey, whoa. Can't we all just get along? And they know exactly what I'm saying and where it came from. Or if they don't remember where it came from, they've heard it. So, he made history because this is a repeat. This is the same thing going on, and that's why they know. There's groups and gangs and I don't know what's the name of that group, but I didn't get to write it down. But there's somebody starting trouble. They're saying, F America. We're taking everything, and these are these mobs. They're organizing, and they're going to come into the suburbs. Now they're going to get out of the city, and they're going to come into the suburbs. All I can tell you is bring it. Bring it. We protect our places. I don't take no shit. Life is too short. I'm a very understanding person. But when it comes to protecting family and my own and my friends, that's it. The gloves are off. Not gonna, especially, certain communities, they're just not going to tolerate it. So they're taking chances. The city is like the city, it's businesses and stores, but it's like, come into the suburbs, come on in. Back in World War II, the Russians were kind of smart. When Hitler was trying to take over Russia, the trains that they had a different size rail system, only in Russia. So Hitler's trains and all the trains in Europe and everything, they ran to a certain point. So what the Russians were doing, when they were close to the borders, they kept pulling back and getting rid of all their supplies, anything that the Russians could use to their advantage, and they kept pulling back. So they kept drawing the Germans deeper and deeper into Russia, and they had a hard time getting supplies deeper and deeper in. As they got really deep in there, that's when they nailed their asses. Because they didn't have enough. The Germans, they were freezing. It was snow. They were, just freezing to death. They couldn't get, so they were, doing it. Hitler didn't give a shit. He was ordering them to go in by foot, whatever it took. It wasn't his ass. So, you want to come out to areas, things you don't know? Come on out. Your asses will be fried. But again, this is only the mobs. These are the people that don't give a shit about anything. The peaceful protesters, they don't. I know they didn't mean this to happen, but now it's up to these peaceful protesters to help participate to calm this shit down. Because now the cops and the National Guard have to step in, and now we look like a bunch of, what they call it, a police state. It's like, well, what the hell do you want to do? Now you're going to have people criticizing, taking our rights away. They're not taking our rights away. They're trying to save your ass. It could have been you in that car getting smashed and pulled out. Everybody's a Monday morning quarterback. 818-259-7983. Let's see who will have the guts enough, first show since we're back, to voice your opinion. Again, I had lots of fun stuff I wanted to talk about, and I may, a little bit. But this is bad. This is really bad. This is not going away by tonight. And when it does go away, already the damage, the burned buildings, this is people's lives. It took people, it's just like you save your whole life to try and do something, and somebody just takes it and just blows it out of the water for you for no reason. It's bad enough everybody was hurting from this whole COVID virus, layoffs, and losing your job, being late, it just, and then now you got this. This is a screwed up year. I am so thankful and grateful just to be. Most of the time I'm just thankful that I'm healthy in the first place because, it doesn't have to go that way. But I'm just pissed off. I'm pissed off because there's a lot of stupid people in this world. And sometimes you as a person, if you're in that environment, need to step up and tell that person you're a stupid person, sit the fuck down. You can't wait, now the police have to do it the hard way. Because they can't judge. You can't tell. Just like, you can't tell who the good guy and the bad guy is. You just can't tell. Just because somebody says, no, I was here peacefully, you don't know whether to believe them or not. Because they're arresting people in Santa Monica. This one guy was like, I'm a nurse's aide or something like that. And we were just in the crowd trying to help people. And, we told the cops that, and they wouldn't let us go, and now they arrested us. Well, you don't know who to believe. And he sounded believable, but that doesn't mean he's believable. I don't know. Anyway. 818-259-7983. Unbelievable. I'll tell you what's unbelievable. Again, all the lurkers. All day long for the past 2 days, I've heard people, I'm going to stay up for this. I got to watch this. I got to see your show tonight. Tonight, you got my attention. Oh, you got my eye. I'm calling you, Peter. Liars. I don't know why you guys are so friggin' shy. I was so happy when we finally got a number. Because I really wanted to talk to people instead of just doing the show and letting you watch the show. Although I know you enjoy it, most of you. But I want to hear. I said I want to hear from the common person. I don't want to just talk to guests. I want to have shows that I talk to people from all parts of the country and pick their brain and whatever's bothering them. I mean, tonight we're talking about this, but some nights, we have all different subjects. That's why I broadened the horizon. It started off with divorce and single parenting and surviving that, because that is if that doesn't rip you apart, I don't know what does. And how to handle it. But then I said, there's lots of things people want to talk about and get off their chest, and let's do this show, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to get a phone number, and we're going to, and people are going to call in, and they were for a while, the first year. But this year, holy shit. I don't know what I did wrong, or what. Am I too entertaining? I doubt it. I'm going to get sidetracked for a second. Speaking of entertainment, I went prior to taking this hiatus, I started really getting down on all these late shows. Because The Late Late shows with Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Kimmel have had to step it back and do a show. They're doing this show. They've had to do it from their homes and no audiences, and I mean, step it back big time, and they were having a real hard time about it. I was staying up late, and I just finally gave up recently. And let me tell you something, they're 2 months into it or something like that, more than 2 months into it, and they haven't changed. It still sucks. They just don't do it. I don't know. I look like a friggin' rock star, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's true. They can't talk to nobody. They have to have somebody, and the writers are still writing like they're talking to an audience. I mean, a major audience, and like, you know, they should have at least piped in laughter or something like that. And on top of it, you get these couple of these late night shows that it's not even 3 seconds into the show, and they're doing political bashing. They just go straight into politics every freaking single night. Who wants to hear that shit? Do we not hear enough of it? Day in, day out, the news all over the place. I can't wait until November is over. I really can't. Whatever way it goes. But man, oh man, it's like I'm watching these late night shows. I want to be entertained, and it's just political bashing, and their guests are politically there to bash one side from the other. It sucks big time. So anyway, the bottom line is, my show is not very far off from what these national television shows are, except they're piping in Zoom. You know, I could have done Zoom, those interviews that they were getting on me to do them 2 years ago, and I didn't want to do them because I just wanted to keep it simple for now. And now, probably by July or something, we'll end up doing it, and not because they're doing it, but it's time to. Every 6 to 8 months, we step it up a notch. Like, things change. If you were watching this show 8 months ago, we weren't in this environment. It was completely different. So, I mean, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but there's like music in the background. I like that. It fills in the space. I almost can't get used to the silence. That's what's killing these guys. They have dead silence, and they can't handle it. They can't handle it at all. They're freaking out, and it looks like they're freaking out, and because they are. They are. It's very uncomfortable looking. I'm very thankful. And I have no budget, and these guys still get pumped in with all kinds of help, regardless, and, I don't know. Just had to bring that back in because since we take the hiatus, I still was watching these shows. Now, again, James Corden, he still has a cooler show. The guy's more hip. He's got a hipper crew. They're always doing fun stuff. The minute they start their show, they go, they start into these little bits, and all these little, fun things. It's not just all this political. He barely goes political, and if he does, he takes a shot here and he takes a shot there and moves on. But I like him. And Reggie Watts, his music director, completely different type of music director. I mean, so they got it going on, and I'm not kissing his ass by no means. But they're entertaining. What are you going to do? What am I going to say? They're pretty friggin' entertaining. Unfortunately, he's the late, late show, so he's on an hour after the late shows, which is, he's on from like 12:20 to 1:20 in the morning, or 1:30 in the morning, whatever the hell it is. It's late. And I had to do things in the mornings, but I'd stay up to watch because I was really curious. They moved their show back to his garage, and they're doing a great job. And they have multi-cameras. I don't know what they're doing with iPhones or real cameras. I don't know how they're doing it, but they got their music director. He's off on a TV just like this. I'm going to be having my interviews are going to be on TV just like this, and it's going to be almost like, I'm not going to just do Zooms where you're just seeing me and on the whole screen. If I don't have somebody sitting next to me in the next 6 months, occasionally they'll be on a TV, maybe bigger than this one, but that'll be my guest, and it may be because they're from far away, across the country or something like that. But if they're local, I'm going to have them sitting next to me. All I know is, in my opinion, and what does that matter, we're kicking their asses in a lot of ways because we're working with nothing, and I don't see much difference in their show to mine. Not that there's anything great about mine, but these guys cannot talk to a camera. I've gone through like the boot camp of shows. I'm proud of it. I work hard. I work hard because I know that I don't care if it's 10 of you that care. I do it because you care. And I care. Thank God there's more than 10 of you. But that's why when I ask for somebody to call in once in a while, you got to break the ice. There's going to come a day where the phone's going to ring off the hook if I still do this kind of show. And, and I get it. But everybody's waiting for everybody else to do something. That's the problem. You got to get off the couch. It's not that big deal. Nobody even knows who you are when you call in. You got to do it. Anyway, let me get back to... Sorry, I'm all over the map tonight. And I haven't even talked about the fun stuff. And I really wanted to talk about it. But these riots and all this stuff is big, big stuff. And I only have 15 minutes left, so to speak. I thought I was going to go over tonight. I thought if anybody calls, we'll go over. I can do whatever I want because I'm under no contract by anybody. Well, as far as I know. And it's a big deal. Again, I think most people are good people. But the problem is you get the bad one in the bunch, whether it's from the cop side, and all it takes is that, and then all hell breaks loose because that's what you focus on. For everything that I do right, nobody really pays attention to that. But Jesus, when I screw up, yeah, right? When I screw up, everybody's waiting to jump in and kick my ass. Nah, look what Peter did. I'm okay with that too, as long as you're paying attention. But it's the truth, right? For everything you do right in your work or whatever, I mean, I don't need a pat on the back. I know where I'm at. I'm one of those kind of guys. I know exactly where I stand. I know my faults and I know my weaknesses and I know my strengths. And I do the best I can with all of that. But, but there's always, a lot of people can't handle that. A lot of people need to be patted on the back and go, it's like, you're doing a great job. I'm not one of those kind of guys. But I get it. And everybody's different. But, we have good and bad everything. Don't take it out of the cops. Cops sucks, pigs, this and that. You may need them someday. And I tell you, if you're a pretty decent person and a regular, human being and all that, you have no reason to you're never going to encounter anything because if you don't do anything wrong, nothing really, there's no real need. Yeah, if you get pulled over for a speeding ticket or something like that, well, were you speeding? If they gave you the ticket, I mean, you're going to get mad at them? I mean, because they were waiting to give somebody a ticket? It sucks, but I'm not going to get, oh, you friggin' cops suck. I back everybody because we need... If there wasn't a need for them, they wouldn't be... There wouldn't be they wouldn't exist, really. Anyway. I need all of you. If you're not going to call in, I just need to make sure that you let people know you're watching this show by sharing. Just tag it and go, you know what? Peace and prayers from the Peter G Show. That's what I want to see. I want to see you tagging your shows or the clips through the week. Peace and prayers from the Peter G Show. That would make me feel good. I know I'm asking a lot, right? Stand up for what you believe in. Thank you. Stand up for what you believe in. If you're watching this show today, tomorrow, some other day, let people know that we care. Peace and prayers from the Peter G Show. That's all I ask. In fact, I might keep asking that. Let's see who's got the guts. Take those clips, you share it, you post on the bottom, comment, and share it. Watch the show. You never know who you might be helping. This show I'm just bitching about the current situation. But let me tell you, I do a lot of shows that have a lot of information that your average person in your inner circle probably needs to hear. You don't know what your friends are going through. Just like people who commit suicide and have all these issues, underlying issues that you didn't know happened, they were having because nobody talked to them. Because they needed somebody to talk to but didn't talk to anybody. This is why I do this. I share stories that people can hear because the bottom line is you're not alone. I've said it a gazillion times. I'll probably say it a gazillion more. And once again, another problem with this whole problem that's going on with the protests and rioters and this and that, this too shall pass. Just like the coronavirus thing that we're going through right now. All these obstacles, it sucks, but this too shall pass. And we are all in this together. It sounds so cliche, but it's, I mean, what else do you want me to say? It's the truth. You know? This, I'll tell you what, I just talked to somebody today on before I came in, and he said it really changed him because he spent a whole lot more time with family, and it didn't matter. And this guy makes a lot of money. He's got a couple of successful businesses, and he says, you know, it was just really cool in a way. He says, but he says, you know, I'm no different than anybody else. He says, the poor man, the rich man, you know, we're all dealing with this same problem, give or take a couple of zeros. He says, but, you know, it's affected his businesses and things like that. But it makes you think. It really makes you think. It's opened up a lot of people's minds. Big Money Marv. Need to talk to you just because. But we're all in this, and it's a stupid, you know, it might sound cliche or whatever, but it's so true. It's like, you know, it's like, and the good people understand that. But sometimes you have to step up. You have to get up off the chair and make an effort to try to help others. It's a big deal. And that's why I do this show. As I said, there's a lot of people that don't know anybody or don't have anybody to talk to, or they don't want to talk because they don't want to, they feel like they shouldn't open up. So they need to listen to these things. And how can they listen to these things? They can listen to it by you guys sharing. Sharing. You need to share these shows. Hey, love you too. You need to share this stuff because there's stories, there's people that need the help. There's tons of these. You go to YouTube, everything's up on YouTube. Or all on Facebook, the official Peter G Show page. You scroll through it, you find things. All through the week there's things going on. You can hit them on demand. Share. And remember, prayers, peace, and love from the Peter G Show. We need this. This is horrible. It bothered me so bad today to watch this because I'm a little more fortunate. I'm away from that area. I couldn't imagine being down there. I couldn't imagine the store owners watching their shit burn to the ground, smashing windows, because a lot of people will never be able to recover from this stuff. You know, put yourself in that situation. We got to help one another, people. My show, see, the problem is that the people that suck don't watch my show. I'd like to think I have the good ones. If I could save one, I've done my job. But if you want to save two or more, you got to do your job through this. You've got to share these shows. You got to stand up, and you got to call 818-259-7983. I don't have a whole lot of time left, but this is how we do it. This is how we do it. I like that song. It's all about caring. Maybe I'm getting soft in my old age, but I'm proud of it. And I feel good, too. So that's my point, people. You've once again had me talking for an hour, but I think I hope I've gotten the point across. I do. Oh, man, I had so much fun stuff I wanted to talk to you about. So much fun stuff I wanted to talk to you about. I'm going to get off that subject. We're going to end on a couple of positive notes, okay? Because it really bothers me. It bothers the shit out of me. Tomorrow I have to wake up. When we get through with this, the TV's going on in the background in the studio, and I'm going to have to be watching this, and then we finally turn it off until tomorrow morning, and it'll be the same thing again. I love you guys for supporting me. I really do. And that's why we never back down. We keep going. So I had to fly recently, and that's the only time I get to watch movies, because I kind of fly for a long distance. Oh, no, actually, well, yeah. You remember a movie called Soul Plane? I didn't see that in the plane. I just remember this. It was Snoop Dogg and it was Kevin Hart, Soul Plane. I hadn't seen it in a long time. And I thought it was stupid, but for some reason I watched it again. It was actually pretty damn good. It's old school funny. Old school funny. Soul Plane. I'm just saying. Soul Plane. Just clean, old school funny. When I was on the plane, I got to watch a few movies. Sorry, getting dyslexic now. I watched Mr. Rogers, and I didn't know what I was going to get with that movie. Mr. Rogers, you know, we all know who Mr. Rogers is. He talks like this. Hey, I like the way you say that. And he was a weird dude, a weird sounding dude. He might have been a weird dude, but he had a soul. He had a heart. And he had his, he stuck to his guns and he did what he did. And as weird or strange as an individual as he was, he went down with it true and true. I mean, that's who the man was. And he passed away. And his legacy lives on, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. But I didn't know what to expect. And it was the weirdest movie. I don't know who, I didn't get to see who wrote it and dig deep into it. But all in all, Mr. Rogers told a story about a man that he met who was troubled. And it all revolved around, Mr. Rogers doing his show. But it really wasn't about the Mr. Rogers show. It was about Mr. Rogers' compassion towards this man. And it's the weirdest thing because it's not about the show. And Mr. Rogers went and he became friends with this man and he was intrigued with this man and he could see there was a lot of hate and anger in this guy and he was a news reporter and he was doing an article on Mr. Rogers, but by the end of the movie, Mr. Rogers was doing more for him than he was doing for Mr. Rogers. And he changed this man's life by consoling this man and being a friend to this man. And it was just a really trippy movie. I wasn't expecting that, but not a bad movie. I don't know. It was very, very strange, but good. And that's all I got to say about that. Well, that's actually Forrest Gump now. I like the way... Okay, so we'll go back to Mr. I like the way you say that. I also saw Ford versus Ferrari. Bitchin' movie. I'd like to see that. I was tensed up certain times. Would have loved to seen that on the big screen. Maybe I will someday, but I saw it on the plane. One thing I noticed that this driver for this Ford car had a wife. They were European. I think they're Australian or something like that. That was Murphy. No, what was his name? Should have wrote it down. But he had a wife that supported him through and through. And he was a crazy dude. This was the driver of the Ford car. The Shelby. Carroll Shelby portrayed. But even though, the movie was about developing the Ford race car and the GT, what I picked out of it was that this man, as crazy as he was, he had a wife that supported him big time. And Lord knows that is when you hit the lottery, when you're in a relationship and you have a relationship that you support each other and love each other through thick and thin. And to me, that is the ultimate reward, and that's the way relationships should be. Because it's hard to come by nowadays. But that was what I took from this movie. I mean, it was a very cool movie. Miles. His last name, Miles. It just made me think a lot because, again, harder and harder to find. I dream of the day of another relationship where you just through thick and thin, love drives all. So it was a good movie, and I strongly recommend it. I mean, it was just a really good movie. A little thing I came across was made me think. Made me go, shit, it's almost time to get out of here. I just want to leave them with a little bit of something. Why are all these flus Because we don't talk about coronavirus that much right now. We will, though. I'm sure they'll find some excuse. Why are all the flus? Why do they all come from Asia? Hong Kong flu, swine flu, COVID-19, coronavirus. I'd never really put that together, but think about it. Why are they all Asian flus? Why from there? I don't know. I wrote it down because, when I thought about it, I'm going, that's kind of weird. Really weird. June. It's going to be June tomorrow already. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. I'm going to go over time. I gotta get this. I want to get this off the table because if I don't talk about these things real quick, they'll be irrelevant by next week. Who knows what the hell is going to happen next week? June already. Just let that sink in. Take a minute. Tomorrow's June. Okay, enough of that. Somebody contacted me the other day and they wanted me to do, there's an album challenge. He says, Peter, you're pretty predominant in the music world, or used to be. And he challenged me, and I've never been challenged before because I get all, oh, actually, I take that back. I get so many things. I get so many things with these groups, join this group, join that group. I love everybody, I really do. But you got to take into account that I have a lot of people and I can't join everybody's group. And unfortunately, most of these groups they fizzle out after a while, and then I got more crap on my plate. I can't do it. I love you all, I really do. But this is business. I mean, it's just impossible. There's just not enough of me to go around. And it clogs up the pipeline, so to speak. I want to make sure I can reach each and every one of you fluidly. So he says, so I wrote him back. I actually wrote him back because he private messaged me. He says, you'd be great. He says, it'd be great to hear what 10 albums have influenced you. Let me tell you something. It's more than 10 albums. A lot more. The hardest thing would be for me to pick and how I grew up and what I think about and how I changed. But I said, listen, I appreciate that. And I explained to him how I couldn't do it or would not do it or didn't want to do it right now because at this time right now I don't have the time to do it. I said, but one day I said maybe possibly I can do a show on that because people love music. People like to talk about music. And I have so many musical influences, on albums. And maybe I can do that someday. But I just, this guy wrote me personally. He wanted me to do it. And I felt bad. I really did. But again, everybody's taking these challenges. I can't do these challenges. I just can't. There's just not enough. I get too many of them. My whole life would be doing nothing but challenges and joining Facebook groups. Tell you how much I appreciate you guys. Also, while we were here over the past month and we ran some reruns, the reruns that were run happened to feature James from Culver City. James from Culver City disappeared last October. He was a frequent caller and sometimes get a little over the top and step out of line and things like that. But, he was entertaining. He was a fan, although he doesn't want to admit it. But at one point on one of the shows, James, how do I want to put it, kind of stepped again out of line, and one of my super fans called in and tore James a new asshole. And we never heard from James again. Now, I don't know whether James felt bad from that day, or James just says, what, screw this guy's show, and just says, I'll show him, I won't watch anymore. Or maybe he's quietly watching. But people are asking, hey, whatever happened to James from Culver City? So I'm probably going to look James from Culver City up, and just to get an answer out of him. We may just try to drag him back out onto the air. He may come on, he may not. He may say, you know what, Peter, go F yourself. And if he does, he does. Or he may say, you know what, Peter, I just got busy and I moved on. It happens a lot. But either way, some people have written in because they heard there was like 2 shows he happened to be on. And they were funny. They were off the hook. I mean, you know, some people loved it. Some people go, I couldn't hear that. It's too much bullshit. Well, I like a little bit of bullshit. It's entertaining. I never said I was going to be some major, you know, information station, although I like to have a blend of all of it. So anyway, so people said, what happened to James from Culver City? I don't know. But now that I'm back in the saddle, I think I might find out. So I get some time, I'm going to have them figure out and track him down and send him a message to see whether he told me to F off or he just, you know, maybe he felt bad. I don't want anybody to feel bad, but, you know, it's like I said, there's certain things you can do and certain things you shouldn't do on this show, and I'm here to tell you about it. I'm the referee. If you want to hang in, you want to participate, great. But believe it or not, and that's the problem I had with him. He thought, you know, he was saving me or something, and I appreciated him. I really did. But, you know, life keeps going on. I thought to do this show way before I ever met James from Culver City, and nothing personal. I'm not gonna, you know, sit there and go, oh yeah, I need you. I need you. I love you, and I appreciate you. All 3 or 3 million of you. So I'm watching the news. We're going to get out of here. It's 5:36. 5 more minutes. All right? 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. I got like 5 more minutes. I'm watching the news. You know, in LA, we have like, I'm probably sure in your hometown USA, you've probably got newscasters that have been on your news TV stations for years. Some come and go, but there's probably 1 or 2 that have been there for a long time, and you're used to seeing them, you're used to hearing them. Well, CBS and Channel 9 over here in their CBS affiliate, Channel 9, they did some firing, cutting back. And they cut back some major people that you've seen for years. And, yeah, there's a girl named Sharon Tay. I remember seeing her from years ago, and she's really, really pretty. That helps. But she's been a news anchor for years. And she recently did change from one channel to another, and she just did 13 years with Channel 9 here in Los Angeles, and they cut her loose. And all I can say is, shame on you, Channel 9. It's all about money. Again, corporate. They don't give a shit about anything. They're going to hire some new people and go, you know what, we're going to pay them a lot less, and you know what, the world will get used to them. But it's like, shame on you guys. But that's the shitty part of corporate. They just chop heads. It's all about the bottom line and the shareholders and this and that. And cut a few more people. And they were major people in the Los Angeles area. Major weather people and news anchors and, you know. But, so I kind of sent a little message over to Sharon Tate because we're on each other's Instagram. And I told her, I said, you know what, you're a badass. I mean, I remember back in the day, I would stop when I saw her on TV, I'd stop what I was doing to watch. Because, again, she's an attractive woman. It's just the way it is. But she's good at what she does. On top of it. It was just the combo. You know? That's why she got hired. You know, let's face it. Nowadays, all you see is, you know, they try to put, you know, good-looking weather girls on. They're firing the men from the weather, you know, doing the weather. I can't, you know, there's some people that have been on these, they're like staples of their channels, but there's going to come a point where they say, you know what, you're getting older now, your real estate's not as, you know, as good, and we're going to hire somebody new. Welcome to entertainment, people. I was just saddened by it, and I said, you know what, I said, it's a growing spurt, and they lose. You'll be fine. You'll figure it out. But she was, it bothered me, because again, it just reminds me how cutthroat the corporate world is in every aspect, not just entertainment, but in every aspect. That's it, people. I got things. I hope that you listened. I promise you, George Floyd would not want what's going down right now. I promise you. It's not the way it should have been. This is not the way it should be. Prayers. I'm asking you guys to share my show, comment underneath. Prayers from the Peter G. Show. Be strong. That's all I ask. Share the word. Spread the word. Let's just keep this. This is ridiculous. It's bad enough. Again, we were just coming out of this whole, coronavirus thing, and now people are burning things to the ground. What else is next? We're about done here. It's great to be back. Once again, I was betting. That's a good show. That's why I'll never go gamble big time. I'm a shitty gambler, except on myself. I was betting 818-259-7983. The phones, people were going to want to voice their opinions on all this looting and just the mob mentality and ruining it for the peaceful protesters of this whole event that's going down this week. I would have, if I was a betting man, I would have said, the phone. All I need is a few phone calls. But once again, proved myself wrong. But that's okay. So long as you're getting the message and you're sharing the message, that's all that matters. But I would like to hear from you from time to time, okay? Till next week, I don't know what I'm doing next week because, again, everything's getting changed due to the environment we're living in. I don't want to go back to normal circumstances because this is important stuff. We're losing our cities. We're losing respect for our own selves. Bothers me. Just bothers the shit out of me. I have a daughter, I want her to grow up in a decent world, but the world just keeps getting crazier and crazier. I love you guys more than anything. Next week, in the meantime, I want you to share the reruns through the week, and they will be. I appreciate you hanging with me, and I want you to just let the world know you're watching The Peter G. Show by sharing the shows. I'll see you next week. We'll figure it out. I kind of fly by the seat of my pants, but I like it. Again, before I leave, don't forget, I could not be here if it wasn't for Bolt Energy. Bolt Energy, electrify your senses. Ask for it in stores. If you can't find Bolt Energy, write to www.drinkboltenergy and say, hey, what's this Bolt Energy I hear about? I like it. You'll like it too. Drink what Peter G drinks. Good stuff. No preservatives. Go find that in an energy drink. You won't. All right? Anyway, from my people to you people, I love you more than anything. I appreciate the support and love, but spread the love. You got to share these shows to spread the message. There's a message. Even when we're goofing around, there's a message. You don't know who's on your friends list that needs to hear this stuff. Again, the subjects and the topics vary, but you never know. So what's the harm when you see the reruns or this show and you hit share? How hard is that? Do it. Life is short. Love. All right? Love. Till next Sunday. I love you all. Y'all. Oh, I didn't even get to tell you. There's more things I didn't get to tell you. I can't even do it now. Maybe I'll just pass it on later. But we'll talk about it later, okay? See you next Sunday night. We're out of here. And again, share, people. Show people that you care. If you take the time to watch this stuff, there's a reason for it. So why don't you just spread it on? I promise you, it's going to get better and better. There's some big things coming down the pipe. But it all started from you guys. All right? Let's do this. Am I right? All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Love you guys. See you next Sunday. Share. Watch the reruns. I sound like a broken record, but unfortunately that's the way it's got to be because it's all we can do. All right, peace out.
Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Divorced dad, single dad. Divorced dad, single dad. Peter G. Show.